Good morning. My name is Jessica Herring, and thank you for being with me today. Our practice today is focused around the theme of love, of gentleness, and patience as the means to move forward. I find that very often when I'm faced with the decision, I go into the opposite. So I try to force something, I try to rush something, I try to make something other than it is. And so for today, we're going to use those three principles of love, patience, and gentleness to move forward through our practice. So we'll start very gently, lovingly connecting with our body, with our breath. And then we'll start to build a little bit more heat that will require that we're gentle again with our thoughts, with how much we push, how much we yield. And then again, hopefully finding that sense of love and gentleness as we come into more stillness where patience is required. So thank you for joining me. With that being said, please make sure you've got at least 2 blocks and 1 to 2 blankets. And if you don't have blocks, for today's practice, pillows will be fine. But if you do get a pillow, make sure it's pretty hard and sturdy for our final pose. And you can also use a blanket for that as well. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and start. And you are going to lie down on your backs. And when you come down onto your back, just the first thing that you'll do is you'll plant your feet on the floor. You walk your feet outside of your hips and let the knees knock in, and then bring one hand onto the heart and the other hand onto the belly. You might need to wiggle the shoulders out so it feels like you've got as much of your back onto the floor as possible. And you'll just take the first few moments in this shape to connect. So you'll notice the weight of the bones and see if you can let the bones really be heavy. So the knees support one another. The weight of the thighs root into the pelvis as the weight of the shins root into the ankles, the soles of the feet root into the floor just as much as the back of the sacrum, back of the rib cage, and the back of the skull. Notice how the elbows can descend a little bit more, and maybe you can start to open energetically across the chest. Over the next 3 to 5 breaths, as you continue to allow the body, the bones to become heavy, notice how you can also soften the musculature. So as though your body were a hanger, let the muscles be a nice piece of silk that just hangs over the hanger. And again, as the bones root and settle into the earth, muscles soften around the bones. Notice how the breath begins to lovingly expand. The more that we can be kind and generous with ourselves, it gives us the opportunity to expand into whatever things the universe might be presenting to us or asking of us in any given moment. Take 3 more breath cycles here. When you're ready, keep your legs as they are, but either open your arms out into a T shape or you can cactus the elbows like a goalpost. You just take a big breath in through center, and then as you exhale, the legs fall over to the right, keeping the feet just as they are. You'll find a fun stretch happening on the outer left hip. And then you'll inhale and draw both knees back up to center, both soles of the feet on the floor, and exhale to the other side, letting the legs work independently. Just take a breath there. Next in breath, come back up through center, and you'll do 2 more sets on your own. So the exhalation draws the legs over to the right. And then you inhale and pause. You exhale and soften. And then inhale draws you back up to center. And exhale, the legs go over to the left. Inhale to here. Exhale, soften. Inhale back up through center. Last time each side. Exhale to the right. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale up through center. And exhale over to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back up through center. And exhale, pause. Walk your feet in so they're hip distance apart. Take a big breath in. Exhale, draw your left knee into your chest. Draw the right knee into your chest. And pause. Bring your hands to the fronts of your shin bones. And then you'll inhale and push your knees into your hands, straighten your arms. And then you'll exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the knees towards your chest. And you've got about 5 to 10 of these. And you're just following your breath. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, navel to spine. 3 more on your own. And you're just noticing how soft you can be with yourself. How loving. How patient. Next time the knees come into the chest, pause. You might wrap your arms around your shin bones and then just gently rock a little from right to left. And again, you're continuing to breathe very deeply. Come to a place of stillness. Bring your hands to the inside edges of your knees. Grab the outer edges of your feet and start to press the soles of your feet into each other. Grab the pinky toe edges of both of your feet and then open your knees like little butterfly wings. And then you'll pause and you'll breathe here. Press the feet into each other. Soften around your shoulders. Gently release the feet. Or rather the feet from each other. Keep holding on to your feet and then just send your right foot up towards the sky. And take 3 to 5 breaths here in this happy baby position. So the right knee files down, the right sole of the foot pushes up, and the right foot folds down. 3 breaths. Two more. And the last one. Sighing really helps. Bend the right knee, send the left foot up towards the sky. Dial the left knee down. And we're paying attention to wherever you happen to feel sensation. So on this side in particular, I feel it more on my outer left hip. You might be experiencing different stuff, so you just take 3 to 5 breaths, breathing here. Really adding sound helps with the exhalation. It allows the parasympathetic nervous system to start to come online. Toning the vagus nerve. Nice job. Draw the feet back towards your bum. Draw your knees towards each other. And then this time you'll keep your right shin coming in towards your chest. Plant your left foot on the floor. And you'll start by taking small movements with that right thigh into the hip socket. And by small, I mean super small. Sometimes people go pretty crazy here, and you want to make it where it's just a really gentle rocking, almost like you're using a pestle and a mortar. I think that's what they're called when you're grinding spices. And so you're using the thigh bone as that pestle. And if I don't have the terminology right, I'm so sorry. That's what it's called when you're just lovingly kneading the thigh into the hip socket. And then once you feel pretty content on that, you'll come to stillness, bring your hands to the back of your right thigh, and then inhale, kick your right foot up towards the sky, point through the toes, and exhale, flex the foot and bend the knee. You've got 5 of these. And these are just gentle nerve flosses. So inhale, straighten the leg and point the foot. And exhale, bend the knee and flex the foot. 3 more on your own. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Last one. Thigh presses into hands, hands pull into thigh. And exhale. Inhale, straighten the leg up. As you exhale here, push the thigh into the hands. Pause here. Widen the collarbones. Keep breathing. Check in with your pelvis. If this is working for you, by all means stay here. Otherwise, you might start to slide your left leg forward. Press down through the left heel as you push out through the right. Pull both 4th and 5th toes back to your face as you press out through both big toe mounts. And you'll take 3 breaths here, rooting your right thigh directly into the back of the pelvis so the sacrum widens and rolling your inner thighs in. Last 2 breath cycles. Last one. And before we move on, take 3 angle circles one way, following your breath. And then 3 slow circles the other way. Come back to stillness. Exhale, bend the knee and draw the knee in towards your chest. Bring your right hand to the inside edge of your right thigh. Grab the outside edge of your right foot. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Now draw your right knee down towards the floor as you press your right foot up towards the sky. So now back into a different variation of half happy baby, and you'll just pause and you'll breathe here. Scooping the outer right hip in towards the inner left thigh, rolling your inner left thigh towards the floor. Last breath. Seeing how loving and generous you can be with your breath. All right, release the right foot, drawing the right knee back in, give it a little squeeze, and then slide your right foot to meet your left. Take a moment to pause and just observe if you notice anything different between your right and your left side. And then when you're ready, you'll draw the knees to point up to the ceiling, slide one foot back and slide the other foot back. And we'll try all that on the other side. So draw the navel in, pull your left knee towards your chest. Bring your hands to the front of your left shin. Just start with small little synovial fluid releasing in the thigh first. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. Feel free to soften or close your eyes since you have some semblance of an idea of where we're going for the other side. Take a few more little half circles with that left leg. And then when you feel complete on this side, you'll come to a still neutral spot. Bring your hands behind the back of your left thigh. Inhale, start to kick your right foot up towards the ceiling, point the foot up. Then exhale, flex through the foot and bend the knee in. Got 5 of these. And every time you inhale, you kick the thigh into the hands. And every time you exhale, you pull the knee in towards the chest. I think we have 2 more sets. And this last one will stay high. And then you'll pause here. Make sure your left thigh is above your left pelvis. Pull with your hands, kick with your thigh. If you're happy here, meaning both halves of your sacrum are evenly rooted and that's stable for you, stay there. Otherwise, start to slide your right leg long. Once the right leg becomes long, press with the right heel as much as you kick out to the left. Pull your inner thighs down and then press out through big toe mounds and pull back through both fourth and fifth toes. Broaden across your chest and take 5 deep breaths. And we're lovingly working the legs to straight. If they're great, if they're not great, how can you be patient with yourself and gentle with yourself, regardless of what the outer shape looks like? Last breath cycle here. Come back to your sides. Gently bend the left knee and drawing the left knee towards your chest. Left hand comes to the inside edge of left thigh. You grab the outside edge of your left foot. Right hand comes to the top of your right thigh. Make sure the right thigh is still rolling in. Press out through that big toe. Draw your left knee towards the floor. Press your left sole of the foot up. And we're in a different variation of Ananda Balasana, or rather Ardha Ananda Balasana, half happy baby. And you'll pause and you'll breathe. Keep drawing the outer left hip in towards the inner right thigh. Nice job, gently release. Draw that left leg back to center. Give yourself a fun, happy squeeze. And then when you're ready, go ahead and slide the left foot to meet the right. And maybe you'll take some ankle circles. Oh, I forgot the ankle circles on the other side. I'm so sorry. Bend your right knee. Draw the left foot up and take 3 ankle circles one way. You know, sometimes that happens. And then 3 ankle circles the other. And we're being lovingly patient and gentle with ourselves. So sometimes little flappos happen, little mistakes. And we just allow ourselves to notice them and then lovingly respond as best as we can. All right, go ahead and draw both feet so your ankles are underneath your knees. Once the feet are underneath your hips, bring your hands alongside the hips. Then hands come to the top of your thigh bones, so closest to the pelvis, and then you'll push your arms into your thighs, and it feels like you get a fun little stretch across the lumbar spine. And you release that, and we'll do one more. So exhale, push arms into thighs. And this one really depends upon how long your arms are. I have relatively long arms in comparison to the length of my torso, so for me that works pretty well. If you've got a longer torso, probably might not work. All right. So hands underneath your ankles, ankles underneath your knees, hands alongside your hips. So then we'll just learn the breath and the arms before we add in the hips. So inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, reach out through your fingers just like you did when you were pushing into your thighs, finding length through your spine. Extend breath, breathe into the collarbones, root into the sit bones. And then exhale, hands come back to that starting position alongside your hips. We'll do that one more time. So it's 2 breaths. The first part is the inhale, reaching your arms up and overhead. Once the back of the hands come to the floor, exhale, root down through the sit bones, lengthen through the hands. Inhale, keep reaching through the arms, lift your collarbones. And then exhale, your hands come back to the starting position. Keep the arms, let's add the hips. Inhale, press through the feet, lift the hips up and overhead, or lift the hips high as the arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, roll down the spine as you reach out through your fingertips, tractioning the vertebra in a different way. Next in-breath, push through the feet, lift the hips high. And then exhale, hands and hips come back to that starting position. You got 3 more on your own. Follow your breath. Inhale. Exhale, roll through the spine. Inhale, press through the feet, lift the hips. Exhale, hands and hips back to starting position. 2 more on your own. Follow your breath. Last set. Inhale, press through the feet, lift the hips, lift the arms. Exhale, articulate the vertebra down, reach out through your fingers. This time, inhale, press through the feet, lift the hips. And exhale, just the hands come alongside the hips. Once the hands are alongside the hips, walk your shoulders up towards your ears and underneath you. And then you'll go ahead and either press the palms down into your mat, grab the outer edges of your mat, or interlace your hands. Press into your pinky toes and lift your outer hips up. Press into your big toes and roll the inner thighs down. Notice if you can walk the shoulder blades underneath you a little bit more, and we'll just take 3 to 5 breaths here. Now, if your gaze is up to the ceiling, you're drawing your sternum towards your chin slightly away from your sternum, and you're pressing into that spot between your ears straight down. 3 more breaths. When you're ready, release your shoulders, untucking them, and then draw the spine back towards the floor and pause. Let's take a moment to be here and breathe. Awesome. Go ahead and roll over to one side and then continue to roll up to hands and knees. Now, I highly encourage you that if you have sensitive knees, this is that opportune moment for your blanket. And you'll just put your blanket on the floor underneath your shins and underneath your knees. Oops. And then plant your hands directly underneath your shoulders. And then the first thing that we're going to do here is just take some cats and cows. So you'll inhale, pull your heart forward. And exhale, round in. And you just got 4 of these. Inhale, pull the hands isometrically back as you pull the heart forward. And then exhale, chin to chest, push wide through your fingers, your pinky fingers as you round in the spine. From here, take 4 breath cycles to do whatever you want. So you might sway a little right to left. You might take some barrel rolls. And then you'll find yourself coming back after you've done whatever movement works for you, coming to a place of stillness and pausing. All right, so from here, we'll pause. You'll start to look down at your hands, and then shifting your weight a little bit right to left, you'll notice what happens here. And we're going to start to turn our thumbs towards the top of our mat until our fingers are facing the side of our mat. And we're like a little seal baby, waddling, a little right to left. And then you're going to be very mindful with your wrists. You'll start to turn your thumbs, continuing to go outwards. So the left thumb is counterclockwise, right thumb is clockwise, until the heels of the hands face forward and the fingers face back towards your knees. From here, inhale, gaze forward, and then exhale, press wide through your thumbs, tuck your chin to your chest, and round through your spine. And you've got 4 of those. So inhale, pull the heels of the hands back, pull heart and sternum forward, lift the tail. And then exhale, press wide through the thumbs, tuck the chin to the chest, round through the scapula. Take 2 more on your own. Last one. And exhale. Keeping the hands like this, staying rounded in your spine, go ahead and tuck both sets of toes under. And then inhale, pull the heart and sternum forward. But this time, exhale, press your pelvis back. And stretching the backs of the wrists. And you've got 4 of these. And you're just going as much or as little as you'd like. And again, the principle or what we're working with today is this idea of loving, gentle patience. So we don't need to force things to be any other way than they are. And if you find that your hands do not wish to do what mine are doing, that's okay. Be loving and gentle and patient and find another way that works for you. All right, let's go ahead and come to a still spot. Walk your knees, ankles, and shins together. Tuck the toes under, and we'll shift our weight back. And once you get into this fun, loving pose called toe squat or toe torture, Vajrasana, depending upon who you're working with, we're just going to take a few ankle circles, wow, shoulder circles. We know body parts today. And maybe some neck circles. And I like to take Garudasana arms and then just sort of move around. And we're just trying to get all of our cricks and creaks and opening in our back body and our shoulders. And if you've done that, go ahead and switch opposite arms. And it really just gives you also an opportunity to distract yourself from the sensation that's going on in your toes. And it's interesting because sometimes escapism isn't necessarily what we want to do. Go ahead and release your hands. Last thing, hands come behind your low back. And sometimes it's a kind thing for us to do, a loving thing for us to do, so we're not so high volatility and intense all the time. All right, go ahead and release that. Come forward onto hands and knees. Extend the tops of your feet to the floor, and you'll lovingly pitter-patter your toes onto the floor. And you can continue doing that as long as that works for you. Otherwise, you might shift your weight back and lift one or both knees up and away from the floor. Oh, that feels good, depending upon how your knees, ankles, and shins permit. And again, you're noticing what works for you. For me, this works today. Tomorrow it might not. And that's okay. And we just allow ourselves to be patient, to be present, to be kind wherever we're at. All right, let's go ahead and come forward. And before we go on, go ahead and send your right foot back, tuck your toes under. Make sure your hands are directly underneath your shoulders and you're pushing out through the L shape of your hands and then feeling like you're spiraling the hands apart. So just as we did with our thumbs, your thumbs are isometrically going towards the top of your mat and then away from each other. Send the right foot back. Hug the low belly in towards the spine, curl the tailbone back, and then draw your front 2 hip bones together. From here, extend the right leg parallel to the floor, press down into your right hand a lot, push down into your left knee a lot, and keep pulling your low belly in. From there, you can reach your left finger forward, keep dialing your right knee down, pulling your outer left hip back as you reach forward through your left hand. You got 3 breath cycles here. Next exhalation, hug the belly into the spine a little more. Last breath cycle here. Lower the left hand down, lower the right knee down. Let's switch sides. So hands underneath the shoulders, step the left leg back, curl the toes under, curl your tailbone back to your left knee, hug the front two hip bones together, pull your navel into your spine a lot. From there, lift the left leg parallel to the floor. From here, press into the left hand, press into the right knee, keep hugging the front ribs in and back, and then extend your right arm forward. Your palm faces in. And it's as though you're pushing into an imaginary wall between your right palm and your left inner thigh. Lengthen back, push back to your big toe mound, reach forward through your pinky finger, and keep pulling low belly in. 3 more breaths. Last one. When you're ready, lower the right hand, lower the left knee. Awesome sauce. Last few things. Go ahead and root down through your left hand. Reach your right arm up and overhead. Take 1 or 2 little flamenco wrist curls. And then when you're ready, you'll thread that right hand underneath your left side body. When the left hand comes to the mat, you might come to the tips of the left fingertips and tuck your chin to your chest a little more. Some of you will stay here, pressing down into the back of that right palm, pushing down into your left fingers, finding a fun stretch across the back body. Some of you will start to inchworm, or rather uncle thing, uncle it, cousin it, your left hand forward. And you can pause and breathe here. And that left hand went forward, start to curl it back. Press down through the left palm, inhale, unwind the spine, reach up to the right arm. And then exhale, lower the hand down. And then we'll switch sides. Make sure there's nothing immediately to your right. Push down through the right hand, float up through the left. 2 little flamenco wrist circles. And then when you're ready, you'll reach up through the left palm, push down through the right, thread the left arm underneath the right side body. Come to the tips of your right fingertips, tuck your chin to your chest just a smidge, and then maybe push down into left palm and happily stay there, or maybe crawl your right hand forward. If that right hand come forward, walk it back, place it down into the mat, and then inhale, reach up through your left arm, and exhale, lower the hand down. Awesome. And then we'll just go ahead and find ourselves into our first down dog. So make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders. Gaze towards the top of your mat. Tuck the toes under if they're not. And then exhale, start to push your hips up and back. And for our first down dog, let's keep our knees super bent. Lift up through your inner armpits a lot. And then slowly press your pelvis up and back, descending your head between your arms. Once you've gotten here and your knees are still pretty bent, your tuchus is lifting high, go ahead and lower just your left heel to the floor. Bending that right knee a lot. And then notice if you can keep bending that right knee and peek underneath your left armpit and shoulder and say hello, side body. And then we'll switch sides, bend both knees. Then straighten just the right heel towards the floor. Continue to bend deep into that left leg here underneath your right armpit and say hello, right side body. Next in breath, come back through center, bend both legs. And then exhale, just lower the left heel towards the floor. This one's a slight variation, so your feet are about hip distance apart. Spin just your left heel in towards the middle of your body and say hello to sensation that's now on the outside edge of your leg. Bend that right knee even more and then peer underneath your left armpit again. And then the more you can let that right knee go towards the left as you pull your outer left hip back, you'll find a fun stretch that's now into your outer hip and side body. And the next in breath, Gently unwind the spine, come back to your center. We'll try the other thing, or other side. So lower the right heel towards the floor. Feet are hip distance or outer hip distance apart slightly. Spin your right heel in. Plant the foot down. Bend into that left knee a lot. Continue to bend into the left knee. Draw the outer right hip back. Peek underneath your right shoulder. And breathe. Push the floor away with your heels. Next in breath, you'll gently unwind the spine and come back to center. And then you'll take a moment to straighten the legs, lift up through the armpits, and find your down dog. Nice job. Shift your weight forward, lower the knees onto the mat. Extend the tops of the feet to the floor. Lower your crown towards the floor. And then sweep your arms out and back so they're alongside your feet. And you'll just take 3 to 5 breaths here. And you're loving, being patient and gentle with yourself here. Invite the breath across the low back. Invite the breath across the middle back. And invite the breath across the upper back. Take your last breath cycle here. Then when you're ready, you'll bring your hands underneath your shoulders. You'll tuck your chin towards your chest, push down through your hands to roll up through your spine. Hands will walk onto the tops of the thighs as you continue the ascent of the head, the unfurling of the spine. And then you'll just take a moment to pause, and the spine is vertical. Eyes open or closed. Great. And then you'll shift your weight over to one of your sides. And we're going to make our way onto our backs. But before we do, those of you that are working with a blanket versus a block, you'll want to unfold your blanket so it looks like this. So this is roughly 1/4 of standard Mexican blanket length. And then from here, we're going to fold it, I guess, again. So it's about 1/8. Hopefully math is working out. And then you'll fold it again until it's about 1/16. And if you've got 2 of your blankets, you'll do that with both of your blankets. So it will be roughly the same height as a block. Not exactly, but roughly. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to use the block today, so I won't need the blanket for that. But you're going to lie yourselves onto your backs. And once you come onto your backs, you want to make sure your block or your blankets are somewhere easily accessible. Feet are going to be hip distance apart. The block comes underneath your sacrum. The blanket things come underneath your sacrum. So sacrum is a triangular bone at the base of the spine, and you want to put it underneath there. So it feels like the block is an elf on a shelf. And you'll know if you've gotten the right spot for you, because if I ask you to lift your legs up, it won't be an issue. Oftentimes we have it a little too far back, closer to our tail, and then it's hard to lift our legs up. So first thing is we'll just start here in the supported bridge. And the hands can be wherever is comfortable for you. So sometimes it feels really nice to have the hands on the hips as an added little weight. Sometimes it feels pretty nice to just have them open and off. You choose what works for you for today. And you're just being patient and kind with yourself, whatever you happen to notice. And if I hadn't mentioned the blanket people, the blanket is underneath that same spot where the block is. Well, you might choose to stay here and hang out for the remainder of the time that we'll be in one of these two poses, or you might send one leg up and then the other leg up for Viparita Karani, or a variation of legs up the wall or waterfall pose, depending upon how you've learned it. And again, we're just being very gentle with ourselves, very loving with ourselves, very patient with ourselves, allowing the body to unfold at its own rate. I believe it's Lao Tzu that essentially said that nature never hurries, but everything always happens when it's meant to, and so we're just trying to apply that same compassion towards ourselves. We don't need to hurry. Wherever we are in life is perfectly where we need to be. And the more that we can lovingly embrace, gently embrace, and patiently embrace wherever our lives happen to have led us at this moment, the more it'll provide us with the tools, the ability, the resources to genuinely move forward. Take 3 more breaths wherever you are. At the end of your third exhalation, no rush. If the legs are extended towards the sky, you'll gently bend one knee and plant the foot on the floor. And then bend the other, plant the foot on the floor. From here, all of us, before we lift our pelvis from the block, you're going to hug your outer glutes, push into the feet, finding the activation in the backs of the legs. With that support, lift your hips up and away from your block or your blanket and bring your pelvis back down. When the pelvis descends to the floor, take a moment to notice if you need to reposition the shoulders at all. And then our last shape for today is Supta Baddha Konasana. So walk your feet towards each other. Draw the soles of the feet to touch, open and splay the knees like a book. And I highly encourage the use of either your blankets outside of the outer thighs to support them or your blocks. And then once that's established, I like to lift my body up. So lift your body up and fidget it around until it feels like the right and the left hip are equally rooted. The right and left ankle are equally rooted. The right and left shoulders are equally rooted. And then the arms can either extend out to the side, about 12 to 18 to 24 inches from the hips, or you can have your hands on the belly, or one hand on belly and one hand on heart. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in, to notice what you notice. Gently, you'll start to invite movement back into your fingers and your wrists. From Supta Baddha Konasana, you'll bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Close your knees together like a book, planting your feet on the floor. From there, extend your legs long as you reach your arms alongside your ears. And you wiggle, and you'll yawn, and you'll stretch in any way that feels good to you. When you're ready, come to stillness, and then slowly make your way onto one of your sides, coming to a soft, semi-fetal position. Roll your chest more towards the floor. Press into the top hand, press into the bottom hand, and draw your spine up to vertical. Once the spine is vertical, I encourage you to sit on something, whether it's a block or a blanket or a meditation cushion. Just want to elevate your pelvis on something. And then prepare your feet for your seated meditation. And then just before we end, you'll make sure that the sit bones are spread wide, that the hands rest on the tops of the thighs, and your spine is as long as it can be, keeping your natural curves. From there, you can allow the eyes to soften or close if they open. And you'll just take 3 to 5 breaths here, reminding ourselves that through love, through gentleness, and through patience, all things are possible. That we can move forward in our lives, in our days, in our relationships, our jobs, whatever you have going on for you, with a sense of openness and receptivity. And it doesn't need to be forced or strained or anything of that nature. It can be loving, it can be gentle, it can be patient. Bring your hands to heart center onto the mudra. Lower your chin towards your chest. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. May our thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. Draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. The light within me honors and salutes the light within each of you. Namaste.